Come on, Kyle. Look happy. You're the greatest of all time, Kyle. You're the greatest of all time, Kyle. Look happy now. Come on. Yeah, well, maybe. Oh, no, you don't want me in there. You do not want me in there. Oh, no, God.
You gotta get in there and talk to them.
Hold my beer and watch this shit. So? Picking up the win. Nice button-up shirt. How's it feel?
Yeah, it was. Anytime you come to Williams Grove and win, it's huge. National Open's even bigger. Obviously, the biggest payday of 2020. It's been a struggle for this team, myself, everybody. We've had felt like we've been in the trenches taking grenades all year, but we're finally in a position where we can make some changes for the good and get things going the way we want. So yeah, it feels good. Nobody knows better than these guys. You don't dwell on what happened tonight. You're gonna move on. And
good job, man. I'm glad to see that.
Good job, Donnie.
Thank you.
See you, Chad.
Glad to see you win, buddy.
See you, Chad. You know,
see you later, Phil Filler.
We go to Port Royal next week, and fun place to go, good place for us. So we'll see what happens.
So I think one of your most impressive races of the year, in my opinion, was Lernerville. I mean, that was a pretty stout race. And the thing I remember the most was in Victory Lane, you said, or the guy interviewing you, he said, you just beat one of the greatest sprint car drivers in the world. How's it feel? And you said, I beat Brad Sweet all the time. Now, come on. Now, when I heard you say that, I'm just saying, you had a little chip on your shoulder, too. And that's kind of what I've been talking about is the regular sprint car guy. You had the Larson thing occur, and he was doing so well for so long. You had a lot of Larsonites, as I call them, just try to basically minuscule the dirt racer on a full-time basis, and it seemed like a shot from you, kind of in a way, of how the regular dirt guy is still a good driver, basically.
It was humor. It wasn't a shot.
Well, shots are funny all the time, not shots, but shots. I know you're confused right now.
You were happy because I passed your favorite driver, Larson.
Don't say that now. Okay, don't say that now.
That's what you were happy.
Don't say that now.
The way I've always looked at this, and it's been this way a long time, is the outlaw drivers are the upper echelon drivers in the country. And if anybody thinks that they're as good as them, hey, it's simple. You pack your bags, you load your trailer, and bring it on out on the show. When you go from racetrack to racetrack across the country, sometimes it's you're in a position where you can pick and choose and hit and miss. If something goes wrong, you go home, build a new car. If you ain't running good, you hit the reset button. Kyle's in another planet when he goes to races right now, and kudos to him. He's a huge talent, and when he focuses on this sprint car deal, obviously he can do some of the greats have done in this sport, if not maybe even better. But we all know where it's going to go, where he wants to be, and this is what is his passion. But yet we all got to pay the bills. Well, we all got to do things for that. So if you want to reference that, I don't know how else you reference it. I have all the respect in the world for Kyle.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it wasn't really a shot at him. It was a shot at the reaction to what he was doing. Because it seemed like a lot of the fan bases and stuff, or the fans in general, were kind of looking at it as, well, this is what we knew would always happen. He's the NASCAR guy. He's coming back to this high school level. You saw, or maybe you didn't, Richard Petty referencing when NASCAR's going to Bristol for the dirt race.
Richard Petty that was part of the Split Series. He was a part owner in the Dirt Series when this thing split in 2006.
Well, we could talk about LS Motors if you want to go down that route as well. I don't know if you want to talk about LS Motors.
We can talk about whatever you want.
I don't know if you want to talk about LS Motors.
I'd rather talk about strippers. But.
Well, God, don't say that right now. You can't wait for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Chili Bowl Week's an interesting time. Cloud 9 is a very interesting spot as well. But no, what I'm saying is Richard Petty said, in quoting going back to NASCAR to dirt on Bristol, he was saying how he always envisioned going to asphalt as becoming professional. He literally stated that dirt racing is not a professional level of motorsports, that NASCAR racing on a dirt surface would be like going to high school. I talk about this all the time, where the regular world looks at what's happening here, this 900 horsepower amazing race vehicle behind you, as a high school level of motorsports. It's where Kyle Larsons and Bells learn how to drive at 14, and then they go to this next NFL level that is just non-existent out there in the world. It's not real, but this is the manipulation, it seems like, that NASCAR has on the general population, that this is a high school level vehicle, and this is what you use to get to a NASCAR level. And that somebody like you yourself, is just somebody in this imaginary land who wasn't good enough to go to NASCAR, and you're stuck running AAA football or something. You know what I'm saying?
We've all had opportunities at NASCAR. This is where I wanted to be. I had an opportunity to go do an ABC program back in the day. I didn't want to. But, the nice part is Richard Petty can have his opinion. That's fine. He can feel how he wants. This is America. That's the unique part about it. You and I can have a discussion about politics, and we can be on both sides of the fence, and at the end of the day, we should both walk away as adults.
As long as we're not wearing masks.
And disagree. And that's just the way it works. So, I don't know that... I think there's no question NASCAR lost touch with reality with some of their fans for a certain period of time. And I think they know that the only way they're going to get that back is dirt. And I think they also know that Kyle Larson coming and doing what he's doing right here has riled up the fan base. And when he goes back to NASCAR, it's going to come back with him, and it's going to help them as well. So we all win from it.
My only question or opinion I want from you is, isn't that a stigmatism? And he even referenced it as we were trying to get away from the stigma of dirt track racing, which I don't know what that means, but
I don't think
there's a stigmatism that this is a lower form, and that this is not some of the best. Would you not agree that dirt racing has some of the best racers in the world?
Let them call it a lower form. As a kid, I come to these races and I sat in the stands, and I dreamed of driving one of these cars, and I drove one of these cars, and it scared the living shit out of me. I make my living driving this car. Well, I make another living doing other things too, but all these guys that go up and down the road, they make their living driving these cars. Is there another thing that you'd rather do on this planet than drive this thing? I love what I do. I love it even when I don't win. So I don't really care if people want to smash it, if they want to badmouth it, if they act like it's AAA baseball. I don't care if they think it's like B-flunky hockey. It doesn't matter to me. People still come. They sit in the stands. They pay to get in. They buy T-shirts. They cheer. They boo. They throw beers at you.
Apparently,
they do whatever.
that was so mean.
Whatever the hell. They do those things, and that's what it's all about. This is the most glorified form of real entertainment there is. There wasn't no makeshift shit in anything that happened tonight. It was David versus Goliath, and this guy versus this guy, and here we are.
And you got the beers thrown at you.
Yeah, I like getting the beers thrown at me, especially at this point.
And the greatest of all time was sad in victory lane. That's so bad.
No, he wasn't sad. And nobody likes to be second or third.
Hang on, let me get it. Greatest of all time. Steve Kinzer wasn't here.
No, I agree. I 110% agree. 110%. Yeah, you can have one of those. Hey,
Thanks, bud. Good job. Thank you, guys.
But on a serious note, now there is a population we have to deal with, the general world. That's the people that could have this race paying $250,000 if there were stands around it like Bristol. Bristol at one point was about this size of stands, but NASCAR blew up in the 90s. I kind of reference that to a shift of icons in dirt racing, where we went from celebrating Steve Kinzers to celebrating Cole Trickles, as I call them. The guys who go to, and if you look at the timeline, this is a very true fact. That's when our stars of the sport went from Kinzers and Swindells to Jeff Gordon. Then you see the stars from Jeff Gordon till now of wing sprint car racing have been the NASCAR transitional drivers. It hasn't been the wing sprint car guy. Unlike late model world, I love referencing them as well because they didn't have that icon shift. There was no guy who made it trendy. There was no movie about them or anything like that. Their stars are their guys. That's why they have the $100,000 win races all the time. What do you think about that? That is the real world that I'm talking about and referencing, how they don't understand how this is a top level form of motorsports, and y'all's badasses are some of the baddest ass drivers in the world, behind some of the baddest race cars in the world as well. You cannot deny that.
It's all up to us, our individual selves, to promote our own sport. I promote sprint car racing. I love sprint car racing. The late model guys do the same thing. It's all about who's there at the right time. It's no different. We were all racing. Everybody was racing. NASCAR did the right thing at the right time. It exploded at just the right time. Their guys did a great job of promoting it at the right time.
You want to say they might have used dirt racing a little bit to
They might have used
get
dirt
that
racing.
done?
I don't know if they did or they didn't, but it's our job to do that every day. That's what we do. That's what I do. Hopefully 100 times a year. This year it might be 50. You know what I'm saying? So, and late model guys do it too. Late model guys are probably the most down-to-earth guys in all of this sport because they get it full circle. They own their own teams. They drive their own trucks. They work on their own cars. They nickel and dime things for sponsors. You know, they get it. They get the full circle of it. Where sometimes in the sprint car world, we got guys that are a little more, I'm going to call prima donna, and don't take that the wrong way. They think when they drop the back door, they should get paid $1,000 to do nothing.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And that's not quite like that. And that's what happens at a local level a lot. Guys think they should get paid a lot to do nothing. So, I think it's just a timing thing. We got to do a better job of promoting our sport. Obviously, we don't need to do it to NASCAR car owners. We need to do it to everybody that comes to watch. And
fan bases, though, control the sport a lot. They do. The fan base is how they support certain drivers and don't.
You've seen the fan base here tonight?
Right, I did.
This is probably bigger than a NASCAR race at Pocono.
Well, in response to that, though, back to the comparison of icons of racing, and you can cut me off at any time. You go to a late model race, Tyler Reddick shows up and wants to sell shirts. He ain't going to beat Bloomquist. He ain't going to beat Davenport. They're icons. They're guys that they celebrate. Their fan base that they look up to. They're big-time names that they want to be and idolize and want to buy a shirt are their regular guys. Whereas, I don't know if you saw the T-shirt lines, but it just seems like the one or two guys in sprint car racing that go to that next level and become that icon come back and it just smashes y'all. It's like the fan base enables the situation that occurs.
It doesn't smash
it's kind of, well, it may not smash you.
It doesn't smash us. It helps it. It helps it. It brings people. I mean, it riles it up. People want change. They want to see different things. Everybody's been a closet Larson fan forever. Now we're seeing that they're
not everybody. Trust me, Donnie. Not everybody.
I know you are. I know you got a full closet at home. I've seen your internet.
I like Caitlin more than him. Keep going. Not because of the beer thing. I think that's bad for a gut biome, but keep going. Hey, I know about sage fruit. I know about sage fruit. When you promote sage fruit, that's a good thing.
Anybody that spends money in the sport is what it's about. It's because it's not all readily available like people think. So to make the world go around, you got to sell shirts. You got to do those things, and it's. I think it's helping a lot of things. So and obviously he's not going to stick around here and do this. He's going to go back to NASCAR.
Why not? Why not build this sport?
He's not going to go run a World of Outlaws.
Why not build this sport to be just as big as them? Why not try to stay here and take this sport to be just? Well, it may be. I think there's a possibility. I'm not denying it.
What I told you earlier, I said this is true, raw competition. That's what Ted Johnson built this platform on.
Yes.
He was the biggest fan Texas. Here. He wanted to see people passing. He wanted to see this. He didn't say, "Oh man, let's put this guy up against this guy and let's have a boxing match tonight." That's kind of what it feels like some days. Sometimes the entertainment side of it gets the best of us when it comes to Dirt Vision or it comes to TV or it comes this or the storyline for the night. You know, there's all these things that just miraculously happen perfectly for that day.
Well, storylines are important too. They need to be, that's why you get beer cans thrown at you. I mean, and honest.
That's what got NASCAR in trouble, and I hope it doesn't happen at this level.
I don't think they got in trouble. They tried to go political with it. It wasn't one guy versus another. That kind of got them big. Gordon versus Earnhardt's what blew them up. One last thing. Regular person sees a sprint car race. Do you want them to think it's grassroots, or do you want them to think it's the best drivers in the world and some of the most baddest ass race cars to ever exist?
Well, there's no question this is grassroots racing. This is grassroots racing, but this is grassroots laying on the optimum level. That's what we've always said.
Well, I think how NASCAR builds grassroots is it's a beginning level to getting to their level.
NASCAR has a lot of feeder series that they try to consider as grassroots racing. It might be grassroots.
And that's what they do with this and the midgets. That's why they rent them out.
This is more grassroots racing because this is more in touch with the everyday person.
So it's a different meaning. The term grassroots to you is a different meaning.
I think it's a way different meaning than what they may be interested in.
But this is top level, correct? These are the baddest mofos behind the baddest race cars in the world. You want people to know that as well, right?
I think so, but that's just my opinion. That don't mean that's right.
Kyle Busch can't do what Kyle Larson's doing.
Well, he might be able to, but I think it'd take him a little longer to figure it out.
What about Horseface Keselowski?
They might be able to.
Oh,
I
come
think
on.
they're all great drivers, and you don't get to be a great driver
without renting out a $5 million truck. I mean, because that's a part of the
business,
fact.
man. That's just business.
But that's where your stars in NASCAR are. They're renting out the stuff. They got the money.
Guys, listen, racing's a racing. Competition's competition.
That's true.
It's a mindset. So you put Kyle Busch in one of these. You put Brad Keselowski in one of these. They're gonna do good. You're gonna have to give him some time. Kyle's been around a long time. How long's Kyle been racing? You probably got all the stats on him.
Me personally, I think there's some micro guys that can only afford $30,000 and can't afford $150,000 or $100,000 in a 410 that could do some damage as well.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, so there's a money factor.
You can ask someone like Tony Stewart and said there's a lot of drivers better than him. They just never got the opportunity.
Exactly.
That's just the way the world turns, man. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the world turns. It's unfortunate some days, but hey, what do you do?
What do you do with 75? What do you do with 75,000?
Try to make up for the 750 we've lost earlier this year. 75 doesn't even really put a dent in.
Well, I'll tell you,
we haven't been in the money all year, so it feels good to finally get in.
I'll tell you what, I think if the majority of the population, first of all, knew what a dirt track was, because a lot of them don't, and then respected it as a badass level, you could have twice as many fans and twice as much payout.
Well, then let's do a better job of trying to get them people to these dirt tracks.
Well, then we got to both buy a Rogaine and look prettier.
Oh, listen,
I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing.
I'll tell you what I am. I'm going to get a Donald Trump wig, though. I'm going to start wearing that in a couple weeks. See if that helps.
Why are you being mean to Biden, bro? No, I'm just playing.
I just said I like his hair.
Here's what we need to do.
You can't deny that that's not some badass
Here's
hair.
what we need to do. I need to talk to Michael Jordan on the development series, and I drive a 23 car.
You might want to do that. That'd be kind of cool. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.